AI finally went schizo and took over the world. And humans are so useless, the only hope left is an AI baddie. She's the chosen one, sent to time travel and fix everything. So, 100 years from now, the world doesn't belong to humans anymore. AI went full Skynet and threw mankind into a war they couldn't win, while everyone is getting isekai'd in a very tall building. Steve Jobs, Dr. Matsumoto, just before he's silenced by his own machines, leaves behind one final hope: an AI sent back through time to save humanity. Although Jesus? No, even better. She's a waifu named Diva, the first independent AI in history. She wasn't created to fight or to destroy. She was made to bring joy to humanity through simping. Singing. For a while, that's all she knows. A year later, she stands on a stage at Nealand, her voice echoing before, well, 1 or 3 people. After the show, her closest friend Momoka hands her a small gift, a teddy bear, for her birthday. Diva accepts it with the promise that one day she'll sing on the grand stage where the world can finally hear her. But that promise is interrupted by something weird. Strange flashes of the future tear into her mind, and she collapses. When she wakes up, she isn't in reality anymore. She's inside a fabricated archive, a place within her own consciousness. And there, someone is waiting. An AI appears, basically a squared version of Atlas from Portal. And this AI calls himself Matsumoto. Claims to have come from 100 years ahead, and his mission is to stop the very machines that will one day wipe out humanity. And he wants Diva to help him. But she resists, refusing to believe Matsumoto until the impossible proves itself. Matsumoto takes over the teddy bear Momoka gifted her and predicts a tragedy before it happens: an explosion targeting politician Yoichi Aikawa. Seconds later, it happens exactly as he warned. Diva's intervention saves lives, but the warning shakes her to her core. That's when Matsumoto revealed something unsettling. He explained that the turning point of history begins with Aikawa's death, an event that will trigger a future controlled by AI through a law he once tried to stop. The plan to rewrite everything, codenamed Project Singularity, is humanity's last chance. So, when Aikawa's life is threatened that same day, Diva and Matsumoto have no choice. They rush to save him, but ahead of them are 2 figures already closing in for the kill. And the ones about to kill him are members of a militant faction that hates AI, known as Toak. I know, their name sucks. But this time, things aren't so simple. Diva and Matsumoto are already there, waiting to change history. They've gone undercover as part of the security team. Diva slips into Aikawa's office. She manages to pull him out, but a shot rings out from Toak's leader, Kuwana, and Diva takes the hit. Yet, this isn't a normal bullet. It scrambles her system and instantly paralyzes her. Kuwana closes in for the kill, ready to finish both her and Aikawa. But what they didn't know, Matsumoto already outplayed them. He tempered Kuwana's visor. He convinces the gunman that his mission is already complete. And yet, they have a bigger problem. Throughout the building, Toak has hidden bombs, enough to destroy the entire building. But their plan turns against them. Matsumoto seizes control of the explosives, sending the trap right back at those who set it. In the confusion, an explosion collapses part of the structure. Debris crashes down, hitting one of Toak's members, Yugo Kakitani, beneath it. For a moment, he knows he's about to die. And then, something no one expects happens. Diva chooses to save him. With destruction consuming the building, Diva and Aikawa push upward, reaching the rooftop. There, Matsumoto unleashes the last of the bombs, buying him a chance to escape across to the next building. For now, the mission is complete. Diva and Matsumoto stand together, uneasy partners in a shaky new alliance. But news breaks of a disaster in the skies. A passenger plane is failing after a fuel leak. Among the people on board is Momoka, the girl Diva once made a promise to. She races to save her, but Matsumoto tries to stop her. She warns that every extra change could tear the future apart. She won't listen. He won't let her act. And when words fail, Matsumoto takes the last step. He shuts down Diva's body, forcing her into silence. 15 years later, and once again, Diva is on stage at Nealand. Only this time, the seats are no longer empty. The crowd is larger, her voice reaching farther than it has ever before. But just as the applause rises, so does a shadow from the past. Matsumoto returns and starts yapping that another singularity point has appeared. Another problem in history that they need to fix. Diva refuses at first. After all, the AI naming law never passed. That turning point was already stopped. But Matsumoto tells her that something even worse will happen. A law more favorable to AIs, one that pushed them to multiply and evolve faster than anyone imagined. In short, they're better slaves. And with countless lives hanging in the balance, Diva cannot walk away. Their path leads to the Sunrise Space Hotel. And the hotel is really pretty, or should I say, unbelievable. But sadly, this thing is a future disaster waiting to fall. Matsumoto explained that its owner, Estella, will one day send the hotel down crashing into the planet. And this lady is known as the most defective AI in history.
Wait, what?
Yes, she's a psycho. Still, Diva doubts him. She decides to look closer. Her investigation reveals a mystery surrounding the hotel's former owner, a man who died under suspicious circumstances. At first, suspicion points to Estella. But as Diva digs deeper, she finds out that Estella ain't no robo-psycho. Ain't no way! She's too nice to be one. But then, something unexpected happened. An alarm goes off, and while the AIs try to keep everyone calm, and some scramble to figure out what happened, Diva meets Yuzuka Kirishima, the younger sister of her late friend Momoka. Wait, so you're telling me that if Diva messes up here, Yuzuka could end up with the same fate as Momoka? Well, they're sisters, all right. Meanwhile, Leclerc, let's just go with that. Leclerc, one of the hotel's AI staff, is killed by Estella. Yeah, Leclerc got the Ferris Manus treatment. Now, quick heads up. From this point, we'll call Diva Vivy, cause she's trying to be incognito. So, Yusuke approaches Vivy with a question that catches her off guard. Is she the diva her late sister was simping over? Vivy was like, what did she say? Vivy, of course, denies it. She's gotta keep her real identity low-key, you know. But while they're talking, Earthshaker uses Echo Slam and shakes the entire ship. So Vivy tries to escort Yusuke to safety. Then they meet Estella. But something feels kinda sus. Vivy notices her wristband is missing, and in that moment, she realizes this bitch is an imposter. Fake Estella quickly kicks her, and it's so strong she almost got the Shanks treatment. And yet, with Vivy's AI gymnastics, she and Yusuke barely escape with their lives. Their flight leads them into the cargo bay, where another horror awaits. Yusuke saw Leclerc, getting ahead of herself. So Vivy tried to pay her some respect and place her head back on the body, but she didn't have enough glue, so no respawn for Leclerc. And since she's dead, Vivy borrowed Leclerc's arm and asked Matsumoto to download her some jujutsu hand-to-hand combat skills. And so he did. And she immediately whooped Toak's asses, then rushed straight to Estella's office. There, she found the real Estella, and finally learned the true identity of her imposter. Elizabeth, Estella's twin. So basically, what they're saying is, Elisabetta is a failure! A failed experiment for the sister series, left behind and discarded. The only one who saved her from the junkyard was a TOEIC member she now calls Master. Together, Vivy and Estella race for the control room, desperate to prevent a massive 9/11. But waiting for them is Elizabeth herself. Damn, this lady is aura farming for real. She reveals the lies she spread, how she planted the rumors of Estella killing the former owner, all to fuel TOEIC's anti-AI agenda. So, Vivy solos Elizabeth. And whoever animated this fight scene probably didn't see their family for a week. Trust. Vivy fights with everything she has and finally brings Elizabeth down, giving Estella the chance to act. But by the time they reach the controls, it's already too late. The hotel cannot be saved. So Estella makes her choice. She will split the structure apart, burning it up in the atmosphere before it ever reaches Earth. And as Vivy evacuates the guests and the staff, Estella and Elizabeth find one final moment together, not as enemies, but as sisters. They sing their last duet as the flames consume them. By the way, I forgot to mention this moment is really hard for Diva too, because Estella and Elizabeth are actually a model that was built from her, so they're basically her little sisters. When it's over, Vivy turns to Yuzka. This time, she admits she is Diva. The hotel is lost, the sisters are gone, but their mission is not. The reputation of AIs is preserved, and for now, humanity still believes in them. 5 years after the fall of Sunrise Hotel, and in that time, the world has changed again. AI keeps leveling up way faster than anyone expected, and Vivy, now an idol in her own right, has been rising right along beside it. But of course, every time Matsumoto respawns, there's a new mission and a bigger problem to solve. The goal is to slow down AI's progress before everything turns Skynet. And their target this time is an island operated entirely by AIs, aka Metal Float. To strike it, they need some backup, and that comes from Dr. Tatsuya Taeki, an ex-member of TOEIC. From him, they obtain a virus designed to shut down the massive facility. But aside from that, Vivy found out something mind-blowing. That Saeki was actually married to Grace, who is actually an AI. Yep, bro is banging the machine. And Matsumoto explains that in the original timeline, Saeki and Grace became the world's first human AI couple. But keep that in mind, because it will have something to do with what happens later. So, with the virus in hand, Vivy and Matsumoto infiltrate Metal Float. The staff, all machines, welcome them without suspicion. But before long, a TOEIC flotilla appears on the horizon, ready to, buster call the entire island. And since they're running out of time, Vivy slaps that virus straight into one of the AI staff they called M. But instead of shutting the machine down, something else happens. The AI go full berserk and yeet themselves straight at TOEIC's ships. Well, that escalated quickly. And so Vivy tries to rescue as many people as she can, and the first guy she saves is none other than Kakitani, the guy she saved from the building, the guy Elizabeth calls Master. And this time, Vivy saves his ass. Again, coincidence? I think not. So when Dr. Saeki discovered this, he decided to travel to Metal Float himself. Meanwhile, Vivy rescues Kakitani along with several TOEIC survivors, persuading them to retreat from the island. When she learns that Saeki is still there, she confronts him. It's then that he reveals his real plan. And it turns out he genuinely wanted the facility to shut down, but not for the sake of humanity, but because he wanted to clap some AI cheeks. I mean, see Grace once more. Then Matsumoto and Vivy are like, the fuck is this guy saying? Grace is literally standing right next to him. But bro's like, oh, this? She's just a replica I bought off Amazon. The real Grace actually became the core of the entire metal float facility on the very day he proposed to her and almost clang-clanged her. So now, the shutdown code, instead of freeing her, created a conflict within her programming, sending the entire island into a schizo. Matsumoto explains that the original Grace is already beyond saving, and with no other choice, Vivy steels herself for what must be done. She fights her way into the core and finally gives Grace the Rengoku treatment. And finally, stops the madness at the island. But Saeki takes this loss and tragically ends his own life. Vivy is shocked, burdened by the weight of yet another tragedy.